Should be okay, but what you can do is you can test it real easily. Find out if it's real acidic or not. And you get those test strips like at the pool store, dunk them in there and it'll tell you the acidity level of it. That's what you're worried about. Okay. Now remember, rhododendrons or azaleas, they like acidic soil. And you're actually going to use a different fertilizer than you would. Standard fertilizer, stuff you get at the store, fantastic, works great. Use it in half strength. If it says 1 tablespoon per gallon, put 1 tablespoon in and fill it up to 2 gallons. And fertilize every 2 weeks at half strength. You're better off to do a half strength feeding more often than a full strength once in a while. Okay? The bonsai masters will use different types. They use cake seed, and they make their own organic type. They actually make balls out of it, and they just place it on the top of the soil. And as you water, it slowly disintegrates and works down into there, and they're just constantly doing it. But there's others too that are masters at it that use the same old stuff. The Miracle Grow works great. It'll work fine. Fish emulsion is a great fertilizer because it's mild. Okay, you don't want to use harsh stuff. If you've ever transplanted a bonsai, you've pruned the roots, dropped it in your pot, and you want to feed it, don't! Not yet. You've just trimmed the roots. You're going to get new growth off of there pretty quickly. If you drop a good dose of fertilizer in there, chances are you're probably going to burn the roots. I did it. That's how I said, I just fertilized it. How did it die? Well, that's how it died. You fertilized it too soon. After you've pruned the roots and dropped in a plant, wait 6 weeks at least before you fertilize. If you are transplanting your plant into a pot, and when you take it out of the container, you've got lengthy, thicker roots on one side and real good fibrous root growth on the other, trim those other runs off, keep the fibrous, maybe even trim just a touch of that off. Okay? You'll want fibrous root growth. Once you've cut those larger ones and you get it in a good soil and you treat it well, you'll get that fibrous root growth on that other side, and the foliage will show it later on. Okay? Rainwater is really good to use. You got to water it every day, remember. And if you go on vacation, make sure you get somebody to water it, because if you don't and they dry out, they're goners. Now, if any of you ever have plants that wilted because they got too hot, if you ever get a bonsai that wilts, and deciduous bonsai, maples, oaks, any kind of deciduous tree, they'll show it to you real quick first, because the leaves will kind of wither up a little bit. They'll wrinkle up. If that's the case, okay, all you got to do is get a larger container, fill it up with water, and stick the pot and everything right down in the water so it's covering completely the pot. Let it soak. And you'll know that it's soaked sufficiently enough because there's no more air bubbles coming out of the soil. Okay. Once you've soaked it down good, it takes about 15-20 minutes, pull it out of there and put it in a shaded area. Leave it there for a couple days, it'll be fine. You'll walk back there 3 or 4 days and you'll go, oh, it's back! And it'll be fine. Okay? But don't keep it in direct sunlight if it's been withered by heat. Get it in the shade, get it the water, it'll recover on its own. It'll be fine.